All right, Graham Romania here with WhatCulture.com. Today we're talking to AJ Francis, NXT superstar, and you're going to be featured in the upcoming episode of WWE Most Wanted Treasures on A&E this upcoming Sunday, April 18th. AJ, what's going on, man?
Not much, brother. Just reeling off an incredible WrestleMania weekend, like I know you did too.
So this is your first one, right? Because I know you got signed last year, your first actual Mania, right? Because last year there was no fans or whatever.
No, I actually was involved. I was signed last year in January.
Yeah.
So I was actually involved in the 24/7 segment of last year's Mania.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Just
so fun.
because it was at the Performance Center, and they needed bodies, and I lived 5 minutes from there. But this one I actually didn't go this year because we if I feel like, just from my NFL playing days, if I'm not actively involved in what's going on, then I'm just in the way, and I don't want to be in. I don't want to be in the way. Plus, I had a lot of stuff getting ready to do for this show, so it was amazing to be able to watch all these superstars, go out and just have incredible match after incredible match after incredible match for 2 days. I hope WrestleMania is 2 days forever.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Because I've actually been to, as a fan, I've been to 5 WrestleManias. My first one was WrestleMania 30, which I had tattooed the logo right here.
Let's go. That's
I
awesome.
don't know if you can see right there. It's the logo for WrestleMania 30. I had that.
Oh, that's sick.
I had that tattooed after I went because I always wanted a wrestling tattoo. And I didn't want to be a supermarket and get like the Brahma Bull that The Rock has. Because I would not lie to you as if that wasn't an option. I definitely almost left the tattoo parlor with The Rock Brahma Bull on my
Oh, that's so funny.
spot, which is bad now because he covered it up with something else, so I look like
an idiot. Yeah.
but yeah, man, that was my first one, and I went to 32, 33, 34, and 35. So some people go to the NFL and buy Lamborghinis and fancy cars. I went to WrestleMania. So
so 31 was the only one you missed aside from 30. Well, I mean, technically you were at 36 too. So 31 was the only one you missed then aside from this weekend.
Yeah, so 31, the only reason I didn't go is because I was finishing up my master's at the University of Maryland.
Nice,
so,
man. Congrats.
So a trip across to San Francisco just was not feasible at the time for the weekend, So,
yeah,
I had to do what I had to do.
Finishing up a master's, that's a good excuse to not attend WrestleMania. It was an amazing Mania and one of the best from the decade.
I know,
but,
the only Money in the Bank cash-in probably ever at WrestleMania. Of course, I missed that one.
So you mentioned you were a part of last year's Mania. Were you among the people that caught Gronk when he fell off the platform, or no? Were you involved in it?
Yeah, I actually was. And the reason being is, when I was in the NFL, I played with Gronk. And when I was in college, I actually played with Mojo.
Wow,
so
awesome.
So there's a lot of crossover there between both of them. So it was funny because, everybody else sees Gronk in the Performance Center and they're like scared to go up to him and scared to talk to him because they don't know what to expect. He's a superstar and he's not from our world. So, they don't know what they're going to get out of him. And then he sees me. And because at the time when I played on the Patriots, I was number 69. So he saw me when I walked in the room. And he was like, "Hey, 6'9", what's up, baby?" And everybody's like, "What is going on right now?"
Oh, that's so fun. I mean, there's so many similarities. Like you said, getting to work with Mojo, Gronk, that's great. And especially, it's crazy too, because that was the only Mania ever to have taken place at the Performance Center, And now we have all these other Manias at the football stadiums. That's got to be cool for you, right? Not only just go to Mania as a fan, but to now be a part of WWE itself and one day competing on Mania in a football stadium. I mean, that's got to be like the dream for you, right?
It honestly is. I mean, one of the best games of my career was when I was in DC and we played Thursday Night Football in Dallas at Jerryland, and I was smacking Dak around a little bit and slamming Alfred Morris on the ground because Ezekiel was hurt.
Yeah,
and I had a great game. And then now next year's Mania is in that same arena, so I'd definitely like an opportunity to show that I can perform in that arena again. You know what I'm saying? So
I was going to say, yeah, no, that's awesome. Other than that, is there an arena that you would love to see WrestleMania go to at some point? Like, I had never been to Buck Stadium before this weekend. It's a great venue. That compared to like Camping World Stadium where 33 was, which was a dump, or not. Yeah, 33, just a total dump. But it was a great event. Just the arena itself wasn't great. Is there any other football stadium that you would like to see Mania in at some point? I mean, obviously the Dolphin Stadium I think would be amazing, but other
Yeah.
than that, any other stadium?
Well, I'm gonna be a homer. I don't think Baltimore or DC is ever gonna get a WrestleMania, but it would
Okay.
be awesome if we could
Mhm.
get a WrestleMania. I think the best place to do it would be in Camden Yards in Baltimore. It's the best. It's the best park in the world.
Yeah.
But honestly, of all the stadiums that I've actually already played in, that I would like to see, that I just love the feel of it. I think I don't know if it's still called NRG in Houston,
Mhm.
but NRG Stadium. Like when I played in Dallas, it was an incredible stadium, but it feels like you're playing in the middle of a shopping mall. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it's like an incredible venue, but it doesn't feel built for the game itself. It's built
Mhm.
for the spectacle. NRG Stadium in Houston is like a coliseum to the field. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I think that would be a really cool place to do a WrestleMania. Plus, who would ever have a problem with going back to Houston for a WrestleMania?
Oh, and tell me about it. I think Houston had what, 25? Yeah, did they have 17 too, or was that another one? I don't remember. That might have been Dallas.
Yeah, I think seven.
No, I think it was
Was he in the
Houston.
Astrodome?
It
I
was in
think
the
so.
Astrodome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Okay, so that would be sick at some point to see. But let's talk about Most Wanted Treasures, man. You're going to be a part of the show. This is going to be great. Coming up this weekend in A&A. You've been doing a lot of media to promote this. I just saw this morning. I had no idea. You were on the bump this morning too. Is that right?
That's true. I was on the bump with Booker T talking about the show. It was a lot of fun. The show was a lot of fun, man. I mean, you got a lifelong wrestling fan,
Mm-hmm.
following in the car, going around the country with people he idolized, like Booker T and Ric Flair and Undertaker and Jerry Lawler, and the list goes on, and getting to like spend a week with these guys, man. Like, never my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would go, kick it with Undertaker in his storage unit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, and the coolest part to me is because stuff like that, like that's a part and a side of the Undertaker that even if you've seen every WrestleMania that the Undertaker's been in, if you've seen every match he's been in, if you've seen the Last Ride documentary series, you ain't seen this side of the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't seen this side of Mick Foley. You ain't seen this side of Booker T. You ain't seen this side of Ric Flair. Well, Ric Flair is always Ric Flair. So that's the one guy he's pretty much always the same. But other than Rick, you ain't seen this side of so many different people. So it's like, it's so cool to me to be able to be the catalyst for allowing other wrestling fans like myself to get an opportunity to see their heroes in a light they've never seen them before.
It's crazy, and it's fascinating to hear you say that because you've been to the big leagues before. I mean, you
Mhm.
played with the Dolphins. You've done all this cool stuff. You were in football before you came to WWE. And like you said, still among, as a fan myself, among the biggest marks you can find going to all these manias. Like, that's awesome, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then being on
yeah.
a show like this.
It's
Sorry, go
funny
ahead.
because like even when I was in the NFL, like I said, I played 5 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you ask any one of my teammates that I played with that I actually spent time with outside of the facility,
Yep.
if what my dream was to be, they wouldn't say win a Super Bowl. They wouldn't say make the Pro Bowl. They would say be WWE champion. Like, I would have WrestleMania parties for my teammates, or like when they would come into the city. Like, I had teammates when the WrestleMania was in Dallas. They weren't on the Cowboys, but they lived in Dallas. They were from Texas, and we'd have WrestleMania party in Dallas because
That's
they were
awesome.
like, "Hey man, it's WrestleMania season. I know you're here. What's going on, baby?" You know what I'm saying? Like, so like this has always been like the thing. It's like it's always been the 10,000-pound elephant in the room. Like, this is WWE. This is what you want to do. This is where you want to go. This is where you want to be. But yeah, whatever. Go play in the NFL. That's fine. You'll make money and you'll have a good time. But this is where you want to go.
So like when you're doing interviews in the NFL, it's interesting to me. So like when you're in the NFL and people are like, "Oh, so what are your goals here? Like you want to make the Super Bowl, right?" And you're like, "No, I kind of want to go to WWE." Like, how do you handle that type of thing?
I've always been a company man, so I know how to talk to
Yeah,
the media
yeah.
the way they want to be talked to. But like for real, like I mean, there was also media members who were wrestling fans and followed me on social media and realized I was a huge wrestling fan. So
Yeah.
then they would like put me on the spot and be like, "Cut a promo," and I would just kind of they'd be like, "That's awesome." I'm like, "I know, bro. I'm pretty good at this. Like, this is what I do." Like I've been wanting to do this for literally my entire life. So hopefully I would be pretty decent at it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's crazy. So with a show like this and you're interacting with all the people you mentioned, Taker, Mick Foley, Ric Flair, Booker T, how do you, again, to use kind of the marking out term, to use, how do you not mark out or freak out when you see these people in person and interact with them? How do you not let that inner child in you just go crazy?
Who says that I didn't? I mean, like, I don't. You got some bad info because I was marking out every time I met any one of them. Honestly, like to be honest with you, like one of the coolest moments of my life. So, little backstory: my first day training at WWE in the Performance Center just happened to be the day that they were in there filming the Undertaker
Oh, the
for the
last
last
ride.
tag
Yeah.
document, right? And it just worked out that way. My first day in the ring, I trained with the Undertaker in WWE. Like I had already been trained and had matches on the Indies, but in WWE, my first day, I'm with the Undertaker, and I'm like, this can only go down from here. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so.
Yeah.
So fast forward to shooting the show. The first person I shot with on the show was the Undertaker, and you know, we pull up to where we're going to be working that day, and Taker goes, "Hey, Jay, what's up?" And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, "Oh my god, he remembered who I was. I can't believe that
He
this
said my
just happened."
name. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe Undertaker knows who I am. This is
Yeah.
incredible. Oh my god! And I'm just like, "Hey, what's up, Taker? How you doing, man?" But in my mind, I'm freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god, Undertaker remembers me. This is the greatest day of my life."
How do like with people, maybe not them specifically, but even in WWE, have you met anyone yet? Have you worked with anyone yet that was like, I watched you in the NFL and it's cool like to see you here? Has there been anyone like that yet or not yet?
A couple people like I've. The cool thing is, like I said, I played college football with Mojo,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I met a lot of people that work in WWE while I was still in the NFL.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
So the people that would be like, "Oh man, I watch you in NFL," I'm already like friends with them, so they really wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But like the cool thing for me is like I met Terry Taylor, and Terry Taylor's like, "Oh man, you played on the Dolphins. I remember you were there. You caused havoc." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Terry Taylor remembers me as an NFL player. That's cool. Mac can
Yeah.
always do good things for me, you know?
Yeah. And I was gonna say that's one of like your head bosses in NXT. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, hopefully he only remembers the good stuff. Like there's no like
Yeah.
parting stories, you
Yeah.
know?
Don't remember that I got cut twice, but it's okay.
Exactly. You get to WWE early 2020. Are you thinking to yourself, perfect? Like you have like a sigh of relief because the world shuts down 2 months later. Like you're thinking, I got
Yeah.
here at the perfect time.
Honestly, it was a blessing and a curse because I honestly feel like COVID, COVID ruined everybody's lives.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm not alone in that feeling. So I don't want to throw a pity party for myself, but I honestly feel like if I didn't have to spend 6 months not being able to go in and train in the performance center and showing the coaches what I had and what I could do and everything that I was capable of, if I didn't have to do that on top of then missing even more months because of the show, that I feel like I'd probably already be on TV right now, honestly. But, you know, it was still perfect timing because if they would have supposed to be bringing me in April, I'm done ski. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So I can't take the good without taking the bad. So you know, it's a blessing that I got there just in time. But I definitely wish that COVID would have never, ever, ever, ever come into this world. And I know that there's probably 7 billion people that agree with me. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially since, you know, we just had this recent class of PC recruits. Even if you come in like, let's say a month ago or 2 months ago, you wouldn't have been able to be involved with the show. I mean, you're all over the place right now. Like I said, you were on the bump this morning. You're going to be on the show on Sunday. I might be completely mistaken here, but did I not spot you on NXT last night, a part of the Isaiah Swerve Scott segment?
That absolutely was me. I'm hard to miss, bro. 6'5", 350 ain't you can't
I was
come
going to
in
say.
and not like you know 6'5", 350 like
Yeah.
you know, like how we do it in all of entertainment. But
Yeah.
no, I'm a legit bona fide 6'5", 350. So there's not a lot of covering me up in any way. I don't really look like anybody else. So I'm easy to spot when given the opportunity.
I was going to say, because I was watching NXT last night with my girlfriend, I was telling her that I was talking to you today. I'm like, yeah, I used to play in the Dolphins, NXT Superstar. I'm like, wait, I think that's him right there. Like in the segment, I'm like, holy shit, I think that's him. So it's cool. But yeah, with the show itself, we're almost 50 minutes in, I even ask you, how did you get involved with the show? How did you get picked for this show?
Honestly, when you come from the NFL, people think that you're handpicked and hand chosen to do everything.
Yeah.
That you're given everything. It's the same reason a lot of wrestling fans would boo guys like Roman Reigns because they think, oh, he's not deserving of the spot. He just came from the NFL, but in actuality, he's very deserving of the spot, as he's proven over the past year. So like, people think that everything's handed to you, but the true story of how I got picked for this show is that my high school friend that I used to do the plays and play basketball with is an actor in Hollywood, and he knows one of the producers of the show.
Nice.
And right when COVID happened, the last thing they had to do for the show was find out who was going to be the person on the road with the legends, and they couldn't do a casting call and call everybody in. So he was like, they were just talking, and she was like, "Oh, I'm working on this show with WWE." And he was like, "Oh, you should check out my boy." And then she followed me on social media and loved everything. And then pitched me to the showrunners and all the people responsible with the show. And they were like, "Yes, let's get him." And then they pitched me to WWE, and WWE was like, "I mean, we're not doing anything with him. Yeah, sure, whatever. Go ahead and take it." So it was cool because like I could have just spent the last, 9 months sitting at home training when I could, like everybody else in my position in the PC, but I spent it on the road with legends trying to reclaim their legacy. So I don't really have much to complain about, honestly.
You get back after 9 months away, they're like, "Oh man, I thought you were her. What'd you tear?" You're like, "No, I was filming a show at the Undertaker." Sorry.
Literally, you would be surprised how many people are like, "Man, I thought people would be like, oh, I thought they got rid of you. I thought you got released." I was like, "No, I was just filming a show." They're like, "The show?" Like, yeah. They're like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, they're like, "Who's on it with you?" I was like, "Oh, Undertaker, Ric Flair." They're like, "Undertaker, Ric Flair?" Like, yeah,
That's a good reason to not be featured in NXT TV right now, is filming for another show with like multiple Hall of Famers. So
yeah, it never hurts.
It never hurts. Pretty good excuse. You mentioned Roman Reigns. That's interesting too, because there's so many people that come from the football world that transition over to wrestling, WWE. Roman Reigns, Goldberg. You mentioned Mojo before. Do you have any conversation with people like that give you tips on what to do, what not to do? People specifically like Goldberg or Roman. Have you had any interactions with them yet in your time yet in WWE?
The funny thing is, due to common friends, I hung out with Roman like 3 different times before I ever got to WWE.
Nice.
But since I've been in WWE, I ain't seen him, and it's not because I got here right in COVID, and he has to, do his own thing. He has his leukemia, and there's absolutely no reason he should be around with me or any people he don't need to be around because
100%,
his health situation. But like the cool thing for me is that's what I did on this show. Like when the cameras weren't rolling, like just sitting and listening to Booker T tell me about, like, give me advice on like what I can do. I actually got in the ring at Booker's school and trained with him, like awesome. I got to train with Sergeant Slaughter, like I got opportunities to talk to Ric Flair about my promos, and he was like, "Oh man, you got it, man." So like when you give a promo to Ric Flair and Ric Flair's like, "Oh, I loved it," it's like, okay, well, clearly I know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like because if Ric Flair didn't like it, he'd be like, not really a fan of that. He's not gonna. Ric Flair's not the guy that's gonna sugarcoat something to make you feel better. So
exactly.
So it was cool to be able to spend that time. I didn't waste. A lot of people think, "Oh man, you had the cushy job. You were just filming a TV show." I did not waste that. I trained in the ring with these legends any opportunity I got. I pitched my promos. Showed them my moves that I was trying to decide, well, I want this to be my finish or this to be my finish, and got their advice. Like, I learned from every single person that I was on the road with. And that's one thing that I'm grateful for even having the opportunity to do, because nobody else, and I know everybody in the Performance Center, and nobody else in the Performance Center over the last year has gotten advice from Undertaker and Ric Flair and Kane and Big Show and Mark Henry and Mick Foley and Booker T and Sergeant Slaughter and Jake the Snake. Like, so that's invaluable information that I can never be ungrateful for.
I was going to say, we saw it in the Last Ride documentary, but anyone is lucky just to get 30 seconds with Taker. Like when he came in to talk to the NXT superstars and whatever, that's like a 5-minute convo. You got to talk to all these different people in the filming for a show. You're just not on a TV show. You are literally sitting under the learning tree of like 7 different Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, which is unbelievable, and that's super
Yeah,
cool.
which means if I don't make it to the Hall of Fame in 20 years, it's my own fault. It's my own fault and nobody else's.
You got to feel that pressure now, right? Because after you work with these people and you come back to the PC, and again, the PC already has an incredible array of coaches and talents that you can learn from. But do you feel that pressure coming back from the show? Like, listen, I have to succeed now after learning from all these people.
Honestly, no. And the reason why is because, just to be honest, like, I think the day that I walked in the door, I could have been one of the more entertaining people on television.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that exactly at this moment right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made me such a good host for this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that's what is the reason why I didn't get overwhelmed with, you've never been on TV before for this company, but here's 10 legends that you grew up idolizing. Go out there and make sure that you put them over and make sure that they come out looking better than when they went in.
Yeah.
Like, how many people are willing to actually live up to that opportunity? To me, I was like, bet, let's do it. I can't wait to do it, because I don't really, it comes off to some people like arrogance, but honestly, I don't ever get nervous. Like, think about this. When I was in the NFL, I got released from DC and no team picked me up for 12 weeks. And then on a Monday afternoon, DC called me back and goes, hey, we need you to play Thursday. We got a couple guys hurt. You ain't played football in 3 months. It's going to be on Thanksgiving night, primetime TV, biggest game of the year. You ready? And I went out and had one of the best games of my career with literally 0 days of real practice, like 1 day of a walkthrough and 1 day of a lift, and had one of the best games of my career, because I feel as if everybody's put on this earth to do something. And I feel as if I was put on this earth to perform in high pressure situations, because I know people that get nervous before house shows. And I wasn't nervous before playing in front of 10 million people on Thanksgiving night. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. I'm not saying that I'm better than other people because that, I'm just saying I was blessed with that ability to never be nervous before a situation, because I am completely confident in my abilities at all times. And if you're not, I'm sorry, but like, that's a personal issue that you have to deal with yourself. I don't have that issue.
I love the confidence, man. It's a matter of not getting ready. You got to stay ready.
Yeah, I feel like I was born ready. So
yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, like from the day I came out, I was ready. This show was, I said this on the show and I said this to my friends, I feel like this show was made for me. Like, it wasn't made for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like the whole point, all right, so you're gonna go on the road with, 10 legends that you grew up idolizing, and you gotta, be able to come up with their information about their lives and their careers on the spot, on camera. Can you handle it? Yes. Like, so to be able to be given that opportunity and then earn the respect of those legends in the process, because anybody can go out there and make an ass out of themselves and go out of their way and look stupid and make the company look bad and make the performer look bad, and anybody can do that.
Yeah.
But to be able to get the respect from these legends, I think was the best part for me, because it verified what I always thought, and that's that I love the WWE. I always have. Since the day I was born, I love the WWE, and to the point that when it wasn't cool to like WWE, you know what I'm saying? When you know what I'm talking about, when it was real easy for people to make fun of you because you like watching dudes in underwear fight. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%. Back in those days when it wasn't cool to watch professional wrestling at all. Yeah. So like, Iron Forge was fire, and I was able to come out the other side and, be able to not just represent myself well, but represent all of these legends the way they should be represented, because they deserve it.
Completely agree. Well, that's the end of our time, dude. This has been awesome. Really appreciate it. WWE's Most Wanted Treasures airing this Sunday, A&E, 10 p.m. It's going to be a great show. AJ, dude, like I said, really appreciate the time, man. Best luck in the future with everything.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks, dude. Have a great day.
You too.